That I'm the only one that still thinks that Che and Castro and Chavez are bad guys. Watch this.
And I want you to know, now, you can think whatever you want to about Fidel Castro, but he was one of the brightest leaders I have ever met.
That is so fabulous. Thanks for sharing. She goes on. Czars, freedom of speech, and a plan of action tonight. If you believe this country is great, well, the government is fundamentally changing it, and it's changing into something that you didn't see coming. Stand up. Come on, follow me. We asked a lot of questions last week. You know, tough questions like, why does the president have so many Marxists, socialists, radicals, and a self-proclaimed communist advising him? I'm still hopeful that there's a simple explanation, but I don't think so. I mean, maybe he just wasn't aware of their radical beliefs, you know. After all, he sat in Reverend Wright's pews for 20 years.
HIV virus as a means of genocide against people of color. God damn America, that's in the Bible for killing innocent people.
Reverend Jeremiah Wright was Senator Obama's pastor and friend for more than 20 years. He married Barack and Michelle and baptized their 2 daughters.
And didn't catch on to the fact that Wright isn't too fond of America, or what was it he called it, the U.S. KKKA of America. So here is the one thing tonight. This is not an accident. President Obama's radical advisors are there for a reason. They are fighting a revolution, just not the kind with tri-cornered hats. It is a silent revolution. Don't expect the White House to apologize for hiring a self-avowed communist green job czar, Van Jones. If they did, Van might take offense to that, considering that he named his son after a militant Marxist guerrilla. His son is 4 years old, by the way. Besides, why would the White House waste their time, on something like this when liberal bloggers are doing their best to defend Van's good name? And his Wikipedia page, my goodness, it has suddenly and mysteriously been updated to call him, quote, a champion of market-based solutions. Really? The communist is? You see, Van Jones can't possibly be a communist. Take it from a former colleague, Eva Patterson, who is president of the Equal Justice Society. I try to take the quotes on capitalism and say them with a straight face from the Equal Justice Society, but she admits that, yes, for a while there, Van was running around spouting 1960s rhetoric and romanticizing revolutionary icons, but who hasn't done that? Me. That was years and years and years ago, she said. It was a youthful indiscretion. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but I am a thinker. Can you put the quote of Van Jones of his own description of his conversion to communism here on the screen, please? Here it is. In jail, I met all of these young radical people of color. I mean, really radical. Communists and anarchists. And it was like, hey, this is what I need to be a part of. I spent the next 10 years of my life working with a lot of those people I met in jail, trying to be a revolutionary. I was a rowdy nationalist on April 28th, and then the verdicts came down on April 29th. By August, I was a communist, end quote. Well, that was 1992. Plus 10 years, carry the one. I think that makes it 2002. Way, way, way back. Van may have been in diapers still. You know, can you even remember Bush's first term? Nobody can. But Eva, apparently the lone free market warrior at the Equal Justice Society, says she advised Van to, quoting, rethink his tactics. Excuse me? Rethink his tactics and work for change in wiser ways. Notice she didn't say denounce or rethink your communism, just change tactics. Where was the come to Jefferson moment in this change? That word seems to be playing a huge role in America, doesn't it? Especially with revolutionary Marxists. Change. He doesn't have a pivot point. Here's about the only transformation he's ever talked about from a 2005 interview. Quote, "I'm willing to forego the cheap satisfaction of the radical pose for the deep satisfaction of the radical ends." This guy is still a radical, just like Cass Sunstein and John Holdren and Carol Browner and Mark Lloyd, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, some in the White House may be uncomfortable calling these individuals radicals or revolutionaries or communist, but I'm not.
This movement is deeper than a solar panel. Deeper than a solar panel. Don't stop there. Don't stop there. No, we're going to change the whole system. We're going to change the whole thing. We're not going to put a new battery in a broken system. We want a new system.
But those men are just the tip of the iceberg.